Hello guys, I just sold my car without a car dealer. I thought of recording this video is because when I first started there isn't enough information, step-by-step information to guide you through the whole process. So I thought this video might be helpful to you if you are considering selling the car by yourself. So how I got started, I remember a few years back I saw my friend's blog. He wrote about how he sold his car using a platform called Carro, C-A-R-R-O. He, according to his blog, it's actually pretty straightforward and simple method, and he actually get more compared to selling his car to a car dealer, going through a car dealer. So I thought that in future, if I were to sell my car, I would try these options. And so recently, this year was the time actually I decided to sell my car. And so before that, I actually also did some research. I checked with a few car dealers. So they are actually quoting my car that was actually has a remaining 5 years. And they quote me about between $45,000 to $49,000. And I did some research. Back then the market rate for my car was about $59,000. So I suppose the car dealer usually they have to make a profit, and then they will probably have a profit around maybe 10k, just an estimate guideline. I'm not sure whether how accurate it is, but it's just a ballpark figure. So I think that maybe 10k, if I sell my car by myself, maybe I can save this 10k, you know. So this is the reason that motivated me to actually start the journey of selling the car by myself. Other than car dealers, there's also another ways to sell your car is through a consignment agent. This is this is what I learned during the process. When I actually listed my car, I received a lot of calls coming in saying that they are consignment agent. Honestly, I'm not in this trade, so I don't really understand what that means. So there was this particular consignment agent. She actually very actively follow up. So I decided to give her a chance to hear her out. So whatever I say after this is just a conversation between her and my understanding from just one phone call from a consignment agent. It probably may not represent all the consignment agent out there. So this is how the conversations looks like. She called me and saying that she wanted to represent me to sell the car. So I said that I'm already doing that. So what is the value you can actually bring in so that I can actually engage your service? And on top of that, I also understand that I probably upon a transaction, I will have to pay them $500 for all the paperwork. Of course, they will handle all the paperwork, which at that point of time, I'm not very confident in that yet. And so I asked her that what other benefits or value you can bring in. I don't mind paying this $500 if it is really valuable. It can save me a lot of time. So she said that they have a showroom in, I think it's in a Ubi, somewhere in the Ubi. I live in the North Yishun area. So I told her that, so if I were to, for example, if I were to engage you as my consignment agent, what will happen? So I probably need to remove all my current advertisement on the SG Carmart, and then I think that they will actually advertise on my behalf so that all the enquiries, calls, everything will go through them. They will somehow help to filter out the quality buyers and then arrange for a car viewing. All right, and maybe on their hand they already have a pool of ready buyers. They always say that they have a lot of ready buyer to buy your car. So this is one option. This is one value they from a consignment agent. And I told them that yeah. So in the event if they're viewing, what will happen? So she said that I have to drive my car all the way to Ubi, and then to allow the buyer to view the car and then drive it back home. That is like, don't know, like 1 hour journey back and forth. So I say that it doesn't bring any value to me because right now my car is parked in my multi-story car park. It's just less than 5 minutes walk away. So right now I'm actually viewing is actually I just walk there and then just show the buyer and then just walk back home. That's it. It's within everything 30 minutes done deal for the viewing. So I don't have to drive all the way to Ubi. So it doesn't really make sense for me to engage a consignment agent. And I think there's also another option that they can come over. I don't really understand how this consignment agent works, but I also heard that they are so motivated because they wanted to actually have more cars in their showroom so that they have more product to show whatever so-called potential buyer. And on top of that, when they handle some paperwork, of course there's a car loan, that kind of thing, they probably will have some referral fee along the way. So it's not just that $500. So which is why they are very motivated to get you, assign them as a consignment agent. So this is, so whatever my understanding is just my one conversation with this girl. I don't really do any research on that. So this is my thought about consignment agent. It doesn't bring value to me because it's actually convenient enough. I prefer much more convenient, to do that. I can handle all the inquiries, calls coming in. That's not a big issue for me. It is more hassle for me to drive all the way to their showroom to show the buyer and then drive back. So it doesn't really value add. So that's my take on the consignment agent, which is just one phone call with a girl. All right. When it comes to choosing the platform to sell my car, of course, I will first go to Carro, which is the one that my friends recommend. Unfortunately, they have changed their business model. They no longer allow car owners to sell directly onto a platform. So what they do now is you submit your particulars, and then they will actually send it to so-called the thousands car dealers out there, and within a day you will get so-called the best price from them. So this is probably one way. If you are thinking about engaging a car dealer, you can actually check this option out. So they don't offer any direct so-called owner direct selling on their platform. So that one is out. Another second option is carousel. Carousel, I think they do have this option for you to list your car on a carousel platform to sell. But personally, for me, I don't really use carousel if I were to look for a car. All right, I will probably use carousel if, let's say, I'm actually keen or curious, or just want to know what's the market price of this model of the vehicle or the car. It's just for researching purpose. If for me myself, if let's say I'm really interested, serious in buying cars, I will go to SG Carmart, which is, I think, the #1 Singapore portal right now in buying and selling cars. So I wouldn't really want to post anything on carousel, but I would recommend, if you have a spare time, you can actually try that out. I'm not very sure about the result, but for me, I think that people who inquiry in carousel are usually probably not so serious, and I don't want to waste so much time focusing on people that are not very serious in buying cars. All right, so my next option will be SG Carmart. They have this option, this package that is a one-time payment fee, which is $68, and they will also give the option to help and support all the paperwork that you need. This is optional. So I decided to go with the SG Carmart. First thing is the #1 buy and sell car portal, and also it's a one-time fee. So I just pay once. Your car listing will be out there until your car is being sold. So I think this is very clean. I don't have to worry about any additional fee if, let's say, my process dragged a few months down the road. And it is the top portal, and also I have a backup in case I want someone to help me out with the paperwork. There's a support out there for me. So which is why I selected SG Carmart as the portal for me to sell my car. Before listing my car in the SG Carmart, first thing I need to determine is my selling price. So what I do is I go to the LTA website. I'll put the link in the description section below. I go to LTA website, and you will see this field of option. Just enter your vehicle numbers, ID, etc. And what you will see after that is this form. I think they call it PAR or COE rebate kind of informations. This is all the information you need. All right, once you have these PDF documents, save it somewhere. And next, I need to determine what is the depreciation value for my so-called asking the selling price. All right, so first thing I go to research. I research the model number. So mine is a Mazda CX-3. So I search all the Mazda CX-3 and see roughly what is the depreciation per year. Try to follow same. You don't try to go, let's say right now is about 9,000 plus for 5 years car, and then you don't want to go somewhere like 10,000, you know, or 8 or 11,000, too much more. In that case, then you wouldn't probably even have anyone call you or inquiry. So so once you have that kind of rough sense of what kind of asking price you want, but you need to determine how do you calculate the depreciation value, right? So what you need to do is actually look at this actual ARF paid. Let me just increase the font. Just look at this actual ARF paid. So for mine is 16653, and we go to this calculator from SG Carmart, car depreciation calculator. All right, on the left hand side corner, all right, over here you just enter 16653, 53 or 58, 53. All right, okay. So at that point of time, I think my initial selling was probably around $61,000. I wanted to sell at that price, and then you have to key in your registration date. Let's give a number, May, and maybe 20, when was it? 2016, yeah. All right. And then you hit the calculate button here. As you can see, the depreciation value is $10,713. So this is a bit more than the so-called market practice. I give you an example. So maybe I will just want to reduce it to 59, sorry, 59, and do a calculate again. Still too high. All right, maybe I'll just put 55. So this is just to actually give you a sense of what will be the car depreciation value that will be displaying in the advertisement. So usually, I mean, for me, I'll first look at the car depreciation value, whether is it makes sense, is it similar to the average out there. So you just want to make sure that the value is actually not so far away than the market out there, so that you will get inquiries coming in. All right. Of course, you do have to set aside some buffer. You know, definitely people will negotiate the price, definitely, for sure. You don't put your so-called best price out there. You have to be able to adjust your price accordingly. All right. And then just want to take note that this is one of my friend actually pointed out that direct car owner, when people buy from you, I mean the buyer buy from you, they are not protected by the lemon law as compared to car dealer. They are still protected by the lemon law. All right. So for that, they will be expecting a much so-called discounted as compared to buying from a car dealer to justify the risk buying the car from you. So you need to take that in mind, because before I was known that this issue, I thought that I should price it same as a car dealer, but actually no, you should price it slightly lower than a car dealer, because they are not protected by lemon law. All right, so this is one thing you should take note. And of course, the asking price you put up at first, you please have a mindset to expect there will be some adjustment. If let's say you're not receiving enough inquiries, or people are just keep saying that your price is too high or whatsoever, you have to adjust your price accordingly. All right. So this is my tips for determining my selling price. Now we talk about marketing content. Well, this is my favorite part. Okay, so what kind of marketing materials you need to prepare before actually listing your car? What kind of information that is required? You need photos, right? So this is very straightforward, photos. For SG Carmart, you need exactly 8 photos. Just maximize. Don't just put 4 or 5. You already pay the money. You maximize. You want to put as much as photos as possible. So the maximum limit is 8 photos. So I will recommend you to upload 8 photos. All right. And nowadays, actually, cameras, we have this wide angle lens. So shoot using a wide angle lens, so that more of the areas is being covered. All right. So think of, if let's say you're a buyer, you from the portal, you want to view as much possible of the interior of the car. You want to have a sense of how the car look like, the condition, that kind of thing. So you take photos based on that. angle. Cover all areas. Make sure you tidy up. Make sure you clean up the car. You don't put so much personal stuff inside in the photo. It doesn't look nice. And of course, also make sure that the environment is bright. In a bright environment, it's light. It's bright, so it's not dark photos. Let me show you what my photos are like. To give you some example, you can actually take reference to. All right. So now you look at this is the exact listing that I've published. At first I started off, I said that, wow, yes, marketing, that's my favorite part. I actually took some photos. I actually super overlay some text images, headline, fancy stuff, that kind of thing, to highlight the key point. But that image was all rejected, because actually come out, they have some SOP to follow, right? You can't actually put any, embed any wordings or phone number on top of your photo. So just pure car photo. So don't try to add in anything. It will save you some time, so you wouldn't get rejected. So this is the image that was end up approved. So I have to remove all the text or text wordings in the photo. So this is the by default right from the camera. So I have 3 photos from different angles of the car. All right. The order of the car is also decided by them. Unfortunately, I can't really select what photos I want to show first. All right, but more or less, I think it's still all right. So ideally, you can have a front, side, and the rear photos, right? Okay, so ideally it will be this. So this is some example. This is just some. This is actually not relevant. I'm just put it there. I don't have anything else to put. All right. So this is the car booth. All right. Make sure you clean everything up, as you can see in this picture. Make sure you can see roughly. They can sense the size of the car booth. And then I took from the passenger and from the back seat to show the front seat area, the steering wheel, everything. So it's actually, you can see much of the view from here. And also I took the side view. This one definitely you have to open up the door and then shoot from the side. All right, so they can see the front seatings, all the seatings condition, the steering wheel, etc. And also the back seat, the rear seat as well. There's a thought that I actually intend to shift the front seat in front, so that the behind will look so-called spacious. But I didn't do that, because I don't want to create a false impression that the rear is actually very spacious, right? I wouldn't suggest you do that as well, because you don't want someone to spend 30 minutes coming down everything and then end up saying that actually the behind is actually so tight, so cramped. Then it's actually wasting everybody's time. So I try to manage the expectation right from the photo, right? So make sure I show the real thing. All right, so this is the photo part. All right, just make sure it is clean, bright, easy access. Try to be more professional in terms of photo wise. Description wise, it's actually very straightforward. List down all the features. This one more or less I copy and paste, and then just do some fine adjustment. I copy and paste those of the same model, of course. Highlight all the key accessories, sports stream, etc. One thing to take note is that in the description section, all right, you can write whatever you want, so be creative or whatsoever. But the first 2 words, if you don't want any consignment agent to call you, or not so much consignment agent to call you, you have to put this word. This is the keyword. This is the thing that was taught by one of the buyer. There's a seasoned player in this market, buy sell. So he told me that you put this no consignment in front, you will receive almost zero, no cost from consignment agent. Trust me, I receive a lot of such calls and messaging, that kind of thing. So if I know this earlier, I would probably have saved maybe 30 minutes of my time, 1 hour, that kind of thing. So if you don't want any consignment agent to call you, you just straight away put no consignment in front. All right, and the rest you just be creative and then write some of the reason why you want to sell. Some of the plus point usually people want to see is the average mileage, or what is the mileage, fuel consumption, etc. All right, some of the good point. That one I think is not that important, but of course just do your best in the description. After I've published my car in SG CarMart, this is my response rate. I've recorded it down. All right, so I've published my car listings in 25th of January, all right, 2021. And I got, see, within the first day, I received one direct buyer message, and then car dealer message, 8 messages, and 6 car dealers called me. All right, that was overwhelmed. Because back then I didn't put the no assignment in the description section, remember? So if you can see that this information, the record, so the first few days I received plenty of car dealer messaging me, calling me, asking whether they want to sell through them, that kind of thing. If I put that, probably I will save a lot of trouble, I mean a lot of time handling those inquiries, which is not what I want. So as you can imagine, there will be quite a number of inquiries within the next few days, 3, 1, and then 1 car viewing. I started my price at $61,000, and within a few days I got a feedback. I started to adjust downwards to 59K. All right, I adjust accordingly. And as you can see, the 31st January, there's this remark, car dealer act as buyer. This is very interesting. I will touch on that, on the types of buyer later on. All right, so let's continue further. All right, so this is roughly the kind of response you will receive. Every 1 or 2 days, you will get some inquiries. Most of the time is via WhatsApp. Of course, there will be some buyer call directly and send a traditional message, but majority, I would say that maybe 80-90% are from WhatsApp. So if you don't have WhatsApp account, you better have one now. So okay, so this is roughly the response rate like. So after that, it will somehow dies down a little bit, but then you will still get 1 or 2 messengers every few days. All right, so I managed to sell my car on the 19th of April. So sales and agreement signed. This is where I consider the almost done deal. So in total, I received 55 direct buyer message me, 5 phone calls from them, and then 21 dealer message, and 28 phone calls from them, and 15 car viewings. Okay, so when I recorded this, when I say that one direct buyer is a unique number, so meaning to say that if they reply me back again in a few days time, I won't consider that as, so these are all unique different buyers basically. All right, so just a note that if you feel that okay, just to share with you, so I adjusted my price a few times. All right, and then after a few viewings, few showing, still not so promising, and I adjusted downwards again on the 10th of March to 57K. All right, and that was the last time I adjusted on my on the listing, and I got my car sold. Have the mindset to be prepared to adjust the price accordingly. You don't be so fixated on this particular price. If they say end of the day you don't have any car viewing, you won't get a car sold. When preparing for your car viewing, so you're expecting the potential buyer to come and view your car. A few things to take note. If possible, clean up your interior and exterior. Go for a car wash if possible. It will be very helpful, because after I've done that, I have feedback saying that my car is like a new car, that kind of thing. Maybe they're just trying to make me happy so that they can down the price. But anyway, it just feels much better when I see the car is like is in a good condition. So clean your car. It's just a few dollars. Don't just do it. Exterior, interior, try to vacuum up. Clean, make it tidy. Try to not put so much things in the booth, the car booth. I actually emptied it out so that they can actually have a sense of how big it is. If it's too cluttered inside, and they can't really feel the space inside, right? And prepare this indemnity form. It is actually provided by, there's a template for you to download all the forms that is required. I will put the link in the description section below. It is provided by SG Karma. Even if you didn't sign up with them, it's actually free of charge. Just download for that and prepare for that form. Print out a few copies, and you will need them to sign, take down their particulars. So in case in the event that they want to go for a test drive, actually usually they will go for a test drive. they'll ask for a test drive. This is to protect in case during the test drive there's any accident occurred, they are actually liable for that, or any traffic offense during the test drive. So this is to protect you as a seller. And also sales agreement form, prepare 2 copies, and the receipt as well, just in case that one guy just say that I want to buy this right now, that kind of thing. So you have some documents prepared and then ready for them to sign and make the commitment on the spot. I haven't encountered that yet, so but anyway, prepared, you never know. And of course, bring out a pen to fill out the form. And also, if you have a clipboard, it will be useful, because most of the time you'll be standing talking to the buyer. You can actually fill out the form. So this is the clipboard form and the pen that I always prepare like a professional agent. And then I will also ask for the driving license, so in case just to verify that they have a license to drive. You never know, so everything is in proper. So before the car showing, the car viewing. All right, I thought of listing down the common questions that most of the buyer will ask during the car viewing. So this is the list that I've prepared. So usually they will ask, when is your last servicing, how much is it cost? If you have an invoice or receipt to prove that will be better, bring along during the car viewing. And they will probably ask, what is the maintenance history, logbook, that kind of thing. Any accidents or issues with the car, what is the road tax, the insurance. So if you have all those numbers prepared ahead, what is the fuel consumption, how much is cost for a full tank, that kind of thing. Any warranty left. This is a weird question, but I do get people asking, any warranty left after 5 years. Of course no. Why do you sell the car? So most of the time they are looking to understand or hear the story behind why do you sell the car. Explain it, tell the story. And is the price negotiable? Best price. Some people ask that at the end of the viewing, some people don't. Usually, of course, those people that ask that are more or less genuine or serious. So prepared to talk about some of the pricing, negotiate the price on the spot as well. So those are some of the common questions that the buyer usually asks during the viewing. Okay, so now I will talk about the types of buyers I've come across so far, be it through messaging or through the face-to-face viewing. This is an interesting topic to talk. So there's this best price buyer, I so-called name them. Usually the first message will say, what's your best price? Best price. I don't really like to entertain them so much, because they are just trying to even before viewing the car, even before asking some serious questions, straight away you talk about the pricing. So I'll just usually give them a slightly, maybe 1K below the price that I've listed on the SG Carmart, just to kickstart the thing. So after that, usually they won't reply, or they will say too expensive, etc. blah blah blah. And comes to my next buyer is a low baller. You will receive also low baller buyers that will just message me. So my listing price, for example, is 59,000. They will just say that 40,000 can, or 45,000, or maybe some 50K. I pay full cash, that kind of thing. So I will just treat them as the same. I'll just say that maybe if let's say I'm listing at 59, I'll say that 58. That's my best price, which is clearly not, but I don't care, because they are not so serious. And there's also interestingly fake buyers. Usually in the beginning stage, they start to ask some funny questions. Then I'll just Google search their mobile number, and it appears that there are some car dealers or maybe a consignment agent. I'm not sure. So I'm really not sure what is their intention of trying to pretend to be a buyer. If you know what they are doing, please leave in the comment section. I really like to understand why do they want to fake as a buyer. What do they want from me? Getting some information, I don't know, man. All right, and there's also one interesting, the few buyers sending me messages like assume you know it all buyer. They assume that I'm the salesman, car salesman. I sell every kind of car. They will ask questions like, how is your booth compared to Honda Vezel, or is the I don't know, they just compare with different models car. Then I just It's like, hello, I'm the car owner. I don't sell car. I'm not a technical person. I don't understand what other brands out there, man. You have to do your own comparison, man. So they ask this kind of question, assuming that you are a car salesperson, So assume you know it all, buyer, There's also another kind of buyer that's full of questions. They will ask from, whether the weather is good, that kind of thing, the car, the wheel brand, the car gear, materials, very technical kind of questions. I also don't really entertain too much on those kind of buyer because I don't have, they usually they ask everything, but they don't come for viewing. I don't understand why as well. So, and also another kind of buyer very interesting is like quite a subjective question. They ask a very subjective question, saying that is the car noisy? Is the car spacious? What do you think of the car? Is it spacious? Is the booth big enough? So this kind of question is like, so I usually reply very straightforward. I say that, look, to some people the car is noisy, to some people it's actually quiet. So I don't really, it is a very subjective question. It's really depending on your personal preference. To some people the seat is actually very comfortable, very spacious. To some people it's very tight, very uncomfortable. To some people the booth is actually very big for them, good enough really. To some people it's very small because they have a family, they're going to put this, put bicycle, that kind of thing. So it is very subjective, depending on, you can't really ask this kind of question. You have to come down to view it for yourself, So I don't understand why people ask such a question, but I can really feel it because I'm an agent, real estate agent. So I get some kind of this kind of question before, so it's not something new actually. Then there's also some buyers straight away ask that I received one phone call saying that I can only pay $10,000. And they're also messaging me saying that they can only pay maybe 5K or that kind of thing. Honestly, I don't really know what they want. Probably they're trying to manipulate, the car loan kind of thing, which I don't really do that kind of thing. So I don't respond to them at all. So, and also I also have another so-called serious buyer during I think during the viewing. It gives the impression that it is so serious. They are so serious on buying your car, to the extent that during the discussion he will tell me, we talk about 1 hour during the car viewing, say that okay, so confirm this price already, everything is settled, and then I will check with my car workshop, or I will tell you what schedule, maybe by this week I'll confirm with you what is the timing for you. If you're okay, then we'll proceed with the car workshop, and then we'll get everything done, sign on the spot, everything like he's going to buy like now, that kind of a buyer, serious buyer. Then after that I never hear from him after the viewing. Not a text, not a call about the schedule of the workshop and anything. They just MIA. So those are some serious buyer you probably will encounter. So don't be too hopeful when you get this kind of buyer. Everything is not confirmed until the sales agreement is signed and you receive the initial deposit. That is only 50% of chance. They may also lapse the sales agreement, just forfeit the deposit. So don't be so hopeful. So this is what I learned as a real estate agent. Nothing is confirmed until the money is in your bank account, right? What else I need? So my suggestion is, don't spend so much time, messaging here and there, explaining so much. Just encourage them to come for a viewing. This will probably filter out all the not serious buyer, because if you are a serious buyer, you will come down for a viewing. You won't decide on the messaging, right? So if they are not even wanting to come for a viewing, then probably they are not serious. They are just doing some research, or they are just hoping to get a good deal, that kind of thing. Usually, when will you receive an offer? So for my case is most of the time I receive offer after the viewing, within the viewing day, or 1 day after. So after the viewing, usually they will ask about maybe the best price or etc. They will say they will need time to consider, that's for sure. And then they will probably reply during that night, or the day after, via WhatsApp messengers, trying to still negotiate the price a little bit more. After the price have been decided by both parties, the next step is probably go for a car inspection. All right. So usually the car workshop will be decided by the buyer. if let's say the buyer trusts you completely, you don't have to go for any car inspection, then the next step is to go into the sales agreement. I just want to add in one more important point that even though the price has been confirmed by both parties, the deal is not confirmed yet, all right? So what you have to do is try to push for early as possible for the car workshop inspection if there's any, and then get the sales agreement signed. Because the longer it takes, the longer time, there's more time for the buyer to research on other opportunity, other cars, other deals, and then change their mind. So I've gone out once before, after a price agreeable, within the weekend the buyer changed their mind. So this is my advice, my suggestion to you. So once the price has been confirmed, try to arrange for a car inspection as soon as possible and get the sales agreement signed after the car inspection has been done. Before the car inspection day, I will recommend you talk to your buyer to finalize what are the next course of action in the event that the car inspection is done, as in there's no issue with the car, everything is all right. What is the next course of action? So I will try to push forward that I will try to guide along, saying that if assuming the car everything is all right, are you going to sign the sales agreement on the spot? So this is what I will try to put across, instead of them saying that maybe I will just go back and decide again, that kind of thing. So I try to push forward. So I'll say that before even the car inspection, I say that on the day, assuming the car inspection everything is all right, are you okay to sign the sales agreement on the day itself after the car inspection is done? So this is the way I will put across. And then if for my case is that the buyer is agreeable, and then I will actually I will send them across the documents, the sales agreement document, which is provided, which is the SG Karma template. Send them to read, because there are some clause inside, so for them to understand what's the procedure, to get familiar with the form. Everything will be prepared before the car inspection, all right? And as for the car inspection, I have some suggestion. If for my case, it's actually the buyer actually engaged not a car workshop but a VCOM car evaluation company services that he paid $200 for. I find it's much more professional. It's actually more like a third party kind of thing. It's not a car workshop that does the evaluation, because the car workshop, I have another buyer saying that it go to his friend's workshop. So I don't know what kind of agreement they have beforehand. They may say something that is not good for the car, or some certain things point in order to negotiate the price lower. I'm not sure. So I'm not comfortable with going to their other workshop. So if you are able to actually suggest a third party workshop for the car evaluation, I would suggest a VCOM. They have a very thorough report given after the evaluation. It's not the usual requirement by the LTA for the car inspection. It's the full proper car evaluation, $200, not the usual one that we usually have on a 2 years basis. And the whole session takes about 2 hours. So be prepared that you have 2 hours. You can have a coffee session with your buyer or so. This is what I did, understand him more. And then I also offer the buyer an option to actually drive there from my house to the workshop. The purpose of doing so is that I just want him to experience owning the car, so that along the way, once you have that experience, because I think my car is actually a good car in a way. So I just want the buyer to have a sense, to feel everything. It's actually no issue with the car. Just let him experience owning the car. So just to smoothen out the process of closing. It's just a real estate agent concept, right? Experience owning it, and then and of course, when the buyer agree with doing that, you have to make sure that he signed the indemnity form as well. And lastly, not forgetting, bring the sales agreement. Print a few copies just in case you write something wrong. Actually write everything down beforehand, so there won't be any error. So bring sales agreement form, and of course pen as well during the car inspection day. So this is how the sales agreement forms looks like. It is a template from SG Carmart. You can download from SG Carmart. I'll put the link in the description below. So this is how the sales agreements look like. Just fill in the buyer details, seller details, vehicle details, etc. And of course the sales price, balance due, deposit. What's the deposit in there? The buyer is going to pay when signing this sales agreement. So please send this form. So you can notice that there's a terms and condition. So send this form to the buyer before the car inspection day, so that he or she has the time to actually read through and then be ready to sign after the car inspection is done. Alright, so after that, so what my case was that after the car inspection done, I drove him definitely back to the car park to pick up his car, and in the car we actually signed the sales agreement, and then on the spot he did a bank transfer to my bank account, and then once it's reflected in my bank account, and then I will sign the sales agreement for him. And also don't forget, after sign you have to provide him a receipt saying that you received this amount of money. So this is also another template from SG Carmart you can download. The receipt, so you also have to prepare the receipt, print out the receipt in advance. So after you receive the amount, the mode of payment, sign, and then you give a copy to him. Just take photo of both documents to have a backup. All right. So this is the car sales agreement portion. After that, I told the buyer saying that of course we agree on a handover date, which for my case is actually 10 days after the car inspection day. Alright, so 10 days after car inspection day, we put a date down in the sales agreement as well. I told him that how the transaction is going to be like. I would like to request for a cash check, or they call it a cashier's order. So this is a different from the normal check. Normal check can be bounced, but a cash check cannot be bounced back. So this is what I request for. Of course, I'm not sure whether they can transfer such a large amount via bank transfer on the spot, which is why I requested for the cash check. So this is the get him prepared in the next 10 days. So after the car inspection has been done, sales agreement has been signed, and the deposit received, the next thing I need to do is to settle my balance car loan. And as for the buyer, he also need to settle his own car loan and get his own car insurance before the handing over date. As for the balance of my car loan, I went for early settlement because I only left with 2 months of car installment to pay. So I went for early settlement, just pay full cash to clear off my loan. And if let's say you have a more outstanding loan, you may consider this. I think there's this option called bridging the difference. I'm not sure what's the procedure to do that. You can check with your bankers, or you can check with your buyer, or if you can also fall back to the SG Carmart support. Remember, they still provide the free of charge paperwork support. So you can actually fall back, check with them, see what is the procedure. I think usually the bankers, especially the car loan banker, they should be able to advise you on that as well. So I went for, so my procedure is like that. I call, mine is actually Maybank. There's no walk-in. I'm not sure whether is it due to the COVID situation. You can't actually just walk in and say that I want early settlement. You can't do that. You have to call in, and then they'll have to check what is the balance outstanding you have to pay. So what I do is I have to call in the bank, Maybank, and say that I want early settlement for so-called this account number and then this car vehicle number, and then they will say that arrange another time. The officer will call me back and say that, oh, you need to pay $900 plus to clear example for this amount. So with that information, then I can walk in, make an appointment, walk into, not appointment, sorry, just walk into a Maybank with an NRIC. This has to be done in person. You can't actually do it online. So I have to walk in and then make the payment to clear off to settle the car loan, my car loan. So this is the step that I took. And they say that after the next working day, after 2 p.m., maybe that's for Maybank. I'm not sure is it applicable to all banks. After that, the next 2 p.m. working day, you should be able to transfer the ownership of the car. Do take note that if you didn't settle your car loan, you can't make a ownership transfer until you have cleared your car loan. Alright, so finally the handover day. we agreed on a place, which is his place, handover there. So I took my last drive with my Precious and I drive over there. And first thing, the buyer will need to check, of course, the exterior, interior, the condition, making sure that it is the car that he bought, not not any other brand. And everything is okay. So we proceed to the nearby void deck and we'll sit down and then handle the paperwork. So first thing is to give him sign this handing over of vehicle. All right. So get him sign the handing over vehicle. And next thing, of course, you need to collect the balance, right? That's the huge amount. Collect the balance in a cash check form. And what you need to do, double check, make sure the check is the cashier's order, not the normal check. If not, you'll get bounced. So make sure it's a cashier's order. Check, make sure the numbers, the price, everything is correct in order. Take your time. This is a very huge amount, so don't just rush it through. All right, make sure the name, everything is correct. All right, so once everything is there in order, sign the handing over form and then issue him a receipt of that. So the paperwork is completed. It's just that simple. Next thing, you need to initiate a transfer through the LTA website. I'll provide in the link in the description as well. So provide the initiate. As a seller, you need to initiate a transfer, and as a buyer, you need to accept the transfer. So you can't just transfer car to anyone you like. They have to accept it as well. So I'm a bit old school. I think probably you can learn it via the mobile phone, but I brought in my laptop, so I open up and then connect the internet, everything, and I go to this. I'll provide a link in the description section. So this is a link where you can transfer the ownership through the LTA website. You don't have to go down physically there. You can do it online. So I do it with him together. You'll see this online using SingPass. You just have to log in. Just follow the step procedure. I actually intend to record it, but actually we do it on the spot, so I can't really record everything there. So it's actually simple. They'll just ask for the new owner name, NRIC, mobile number, and the email, which is optional. So just these 4 things, and once you've done that, LTA will actually send an SMS notify the new owner to accept this transfer. So the procedure is like that. Once they accept the transfer, the new owner will log into the LTA website, accept the transfer, and then he has to make a payment, the transfer fee payment, which is $25. And then once that is done, the transfer is considered done. Of course, you'll receive notification from there to verify. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so of course, One Motoring, you have to log in. I'll just do a quick login. So you log into your One Car Motoring account. You should see this dashboard. All right, let me click on this dashboard. You should see this dashboard. All right, inside it there's this e-letter inbox here. You click on that. You'll receive the official notification from LTA, notice of transfer of ownership to seller. You'll receive this from the LTA to inform you that the transfer has been completed. The whole process takes about 30 minutes. It should be quite soon. So this is how the transfer is completed. So after you say bye-bye to your car, you still have 3 things you need to do. The first thing is terminate your season parking. If you have still season parking left behind, you can actually terminate it and request for a refund from HDB. The second thing you need to do is also to terminate your car insurance. You may able to get some refund depending on how long is the balance of the for the period. For me, I think the balance was 1 month plus, so I didn't get back any refund at all. I just terminate it. As for the road tax, you can't terminate, ask for refund. If you pay for that period is done. You can't request refund for road tax. And the last thing, remove your listings from the SG CarMart. All right. Before you do that, I would suggest you change the mobile phone, and then you remove the listing, mark as sold, so it will actually terminate the listing. Why you do that? Because if you don't change your mobile phone, it is searchable in the Google internet. So if let's say people search for your mobile phone, even though your car has been sold, it will appear in the Google search result, which if you don't mind, you can just leave it there. So for privacy reason, it's better to just change your mobile phone to avoid that from happening. And you can't do that after you remove the listing. You can't lock in back the SG Karma. You can't make any adjustment after you mark it as sold. So you have to do that first. Make sure that you save. Sometimes it will take time to actually make the changes, reflect the changes. After it's changed, the mobile phone is not the one that you are using, then you can actually remove the listing. So this is the 3 things you need to do after the handing over, preferably within the same day. So what are my thoughts on this car selling journey without a car dealer? But before that, let me show you the inquiries record, how much time I spent actually working on this project. Alright, so if you look at that, I have 55 message from the buyers, 5 calls, 21, etc. So assuming one message from a buyer took me about 3 minutes, to respond, correspond, asking questions here and there. Another 3 minutes for each call. I need to reply them, etc. And for car dealer related message, I usually just say no. So it's actually fairly straightforward, 1 minute. And then car calls, sometimes the sales pitch, etc. 3 minutes. Car viewing is about 40 minutes average here and there. So total time taken, so I just multiply here. All right. Total time taken for the whole entire process is about close to 15 hours. 15 hours of working time to sell this, sell this car. And it took me about 3 months, close to 3 months, all right, to sell this car from the day I start posting the listings, car listing, to the day to the day the sales agreement is signed, about 3 months. So I sold for $54,000. Based on the car dealer price I got was actually 49. So the difference is about 5,000. Not as much as I imagined, like 10K earlier on, but still a good fair amount of money. So my thoughts are, if you are not in a hurry to sell the car, and if you have the patience to deal with different types of buyers, which I've mentioned earlier on, and you have a flexible timing to allow viewing during office hour, then you can consider this route, this journey. If you want to be hassle-free, I would recommend definitely go for a car dealer, even though of course they will be asking for a much lesser price, but it will save away all the headache or all the hassle that you have to deal with what I've mentioned to you in the video. I hope this video is helpful. If it really helps you in making a decision whether you should sell the car by yourself or through a car dealer, please give me a thumbs up. And if you take the punch and go through the process, by yourself, please leave the comment section below. I would love to hear your own procedure as well. Okay, I'll see you in my next video.